Well, very good morning, friends. I'm standing here in a single beam of sunlight in my office on Friday morning, recording this for Sunday. And I trust you have kept warm in what has been a very chilly week. But more than that, of course, our minds have been preoccupied with the events that have unfolded in our country this week. And my prayer and hope is that you have navigated that on your knees, crying out and pleading before Him, just as we've done and encouraged you to do as a community. I trust that you will find the time together this morning in God's Word and through this online service a great encouragement and a great help. I hope you found the resources we've been sharing with you in the devotions helpful, just to bolster your souls and to help us all as we go through these difficult and dark times. I was reading a section of one of those books we advertised to you, and I do want to commend it to you again, David Polison's God's Grace for Our Suffering. And he also reflects in part on that great hymn, How Firm a Foundation. The fourth stanza, he says, this is the beginning of chapter 6, which is titled, My Loving Purpose is Your Transformation. The fourth stanza of How Firm a Foundation makes God's purpose even more explicit. He designs your significant suffering for 3 reasons. He is revealing His abiding generosity toward you. He is removing all that is ungenerous in you. He is making you abidingly generous. Listen to that stanza. When through fiery trials your pathway shall lie, my grace all sufficient shall be your supply. The flame shall not hurt you, I only design your dross to consume and your gold to refine. Perhaps like me this week, you were very downcast and sad at the things that unfolded. I took a walk on Wednesday on that day of prayer and fasting, and I took a walk in Seven Dams, which, if you know that area, is a lovely place to walk, but large parts of it are being developed, and I was saddened by that too, as those things, the beauty, the pathways were starting to be changed so that development and housing could go up. And I wondered at the tragedy of that as a microcosm of what was happening as things get taken over. And then as I walked, I shared this with our online prayer meetings on Wednesday, I came across this crude wiring, barbed wire, that somebody had fashioned, as you can see, into a cross. And it was a stunning moment as I was walking and praying to be reminded of what God does with tragedy, how He brings supremely triumph through the cross out of ugliness, out of darkness, how He brings life. He is in the business of doing that in our world and in us when trials come. And He wants us to see supremely the eternal hope and life that we have in Him. I want to encourage you to keep tuning in, even though it is a poor substitute for being together. Keep tuning in and making a priority to gather yourself and with your family to watch these online services or other good online resources and services that are of course available, to be in the Word and in prayer regularly. We've noticed a drop-off on the views in the services, and that concerns us. We wonder, how are you doing? How is it going? And yes, of course, we long to be together and gather. So I want to encourage you to keep making the most of these things, to fight back that tide of despair and hopelessness, and to move us to continue to serve one another in our communities. There's one other thing we're going to try, even though we're in an online reality, and it is difficult. Next Sunday, we would like to have a live service, not in person of course, but online, and use either a Zoom platform or Microsoft Teams platform, and ask you to join us so that we can see each other. And we will conduct the service in that way. We'll give you more details in the week. But we would love for you to join us. We can have more than 50, as we've been restricted to when we've been gathering at the building. And so please make that a priority. It would be great to see you all joining there with your families from your homes and joining us. Of course, we'll record that as well for those who are unable to do so. So there will still be this made available. But we'd love you to do that. Please continue to encourage and lift one another up. May God bless you through this service.